Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Leatherneck Insider. I'm Marty Doyle.
And I'm Kobe Blackmon, and we start things off with another edition of Athlete of the Week. Here's Levi with this week's winner.
Hey Leatherneck fans, I'm Levi Meyerhofer here with this week's Athlete of the Week, Max Trippier. Max, you had a solid week this week. Tell us about the accolades that you've had so far this season and what kind of routines you have as you lead into your games.
You know, it's been a pretty good start to the year so far, and especially conference play now starting, and I'm just trying to keep myself in the same position to keep my body well. And that's really what is my preparation going into every week, is doing what's going to have my body best prepared for Friday when I start. So just every time it changes, like it's not always a set in stone thing I do, you know, preparing myself. I go to the training room and make sure Mikhail's helping me out and get my body right, and when it comes around Friday, I'll be ready to roll.
So throughout the week, what kind of things do you do on your days off then when you're not actually pitching? What kind of exercises do you do during practice? Do you have anything specific on days after you pitch versus days before you pitch?
Yeah, every day after I pitch, usually Saturday I'll take an off day, you know, just do a little light workout, keep my body, flush it out, and just reset my mind and body really after throwing a lot of pitches usually on Friday. Sunday, just get some tossing in. Every other day after that, I have a set plan with my coach. I do like certain workouts each day, a lot of sprints and stuff, and just having myself prepared for the next week.
Pitchers are known to have short-term memories, we'll call it. Got to move on to that next play after the good or the bad. How do you keep yourself mentally there during games?
Yeah, you have to have short memory on the mound because bad things are going to, like, hits are going to happen off you, home runs are going to hit off you. You just have to be ready to face the next batter, knowing that your team has your back. And with that, you can dominate games and go deep in the games and really hurt other teams' offenses a lot.
What kind of goals do you have for the rest of the season for yourself and then for your team as well?
You know, we want to get in conference play now. It's a whole new season. We're 1-2 right now. Didn't really like the outcome we had last week, so it's motivating us to start playing better and get some wins and hopefully have a great season, make a little run in this conference.
All right, thank you very much for meeting with us today. Once again, with Max Trippier, I'm Levi Meyerhofer with this week's Leatherneck Insider Athlete of the Week. This is Hoff, signing off.
Congrats to Max on his recent success. He and the team are in the middle of a 3-game series at SEMO, with today's game starting at 2 and the series finale tomorrow at 1.
The WIU women's basketball team wrapped up their season with an overall record of 17-17 in the OVC tournament. The Leathernecks made a strong run, taking down UT Martin and Eastern Illinois before falling short to Lindenwood in the semifinals. Their efforts earned them a spot in the WNIT, where they went 1-1, defeating Lipscomb, but ultimately ending their season with a loss to in-state rival Illinois State. My partner, Kobe Blackmon, has more on the story.
From the OVC tournament to WNIT, WIU women's basketball has wrapped up their season with a regular season record of 17-17. It will go on to the OVC tournament, where they will make it to the semifinals, getting wins over UT Martin and Eastern Illinois, but will come up short against Lindenwood. 9 days later, they would accept their invitation to the WNIT, where they would get the win over Lipscomb, but come up short against Illinois State. I got a chance to speak with head coach J.D. Gravina and player Regan McCowan on their thoughts on the postseason run.
I thought that was a really hard-played game, and going into this tournament, you feel like it's a little bit of like bonus basketball we talked about, and we want to have fun and enjoy it, and then you get in it, and it was like that. It was intense and emotional and physical, and you're competing, and that's the way it should be. And credit to Illinois State. Not only did they really, I thought, fought hard, and then kind of down the stretch, they had some tough shots. I thought we did a good job. Dal hit a 3. She hit a fadeaway 16-footer. I thought Reagan did a great job jumping up on her in a switch. Obviously, we had a few, turnovers and missed shots down the stretch. It's kind of the difference in the game. But, I was proud of our team. I think they got up 10 or 12 there with a lot of time left. You kind of thought, boy, this could get away from you. And then next thing you know, I think we cut it to 2 and then, gave ourselves a chance. So I'm proud of the way we fought. And it was a nice little few-week ending to the season for sure.
Regan McCowan also reflects on the season and the mentality they had going into the WNIT tournament.
I think, kind of what Coach said back at our home game, it's just like, it's bonus basketball. It's extra added on basketball from the OVC tournament. We were in a good headspace after the OVC tournament. So I think coming into this, it was a little bit with a we have nothing to lose mentality. And I think that carried us a long way. Like, if you would have told me before the game that we would have scored 80 points, like, I for sure would have been like, yeah, like, we were winning this game. But, obviously, they came out, shot, I don't know, they shoot 60%, Shannon Dowell hit threes. She hasn't hit a three in 7 games. So I think, not to make excuses at all, but I don't think this is one to hang our heads on for sure.
I know these girls pretty well. Yeah, I don't know if there's anything new I learned. I appreciated a lot of the things out of them. You look at this tournament and most teams will have 2-3 kids that opt out and don't play. I love the fact that everyone wanted to commit and play, whether they were our star or whether they, or a kid that didn't get to play much. They all showed a lot of energy. So I wouldn't say I learned anything new, but I would say that this experience kind of emphasized what I already knew about our players.
I'm Kobe Blackmon, reporter from Leatherneck Insider.
Thanks, Kobe, and congrats to the women's basketball team on a great season.
It's now time for some upsets, and it is March, so it should be a lot of them. Caleb, what do you have for us?
Well, welcome back to the Upset Alert. And isn't it sweet? We've made it through the first week in what might be the most chalk-filled tournament we've ever seen, filled with blowouts and a manager hitting the transfer portal, among much more. Today, we're going to take a look at what is an astounding three-way coaching change, as well as take a look at a few big-name Power 5 players who've already hit the transfer portal. Starting things off, we have to take a look at what might be the most successful series of coaching changes that we've ever seen. After a disappointing end to Kentucky's 2024 tournament campaign, Coach John Calipari decided to hit the road and head down south to Arkansas. What did it lead to? His first Sweet 16 since 2019. His replacement, Mark Pope, the former head coach of BYU, had never even won a tournament game as a head coach heading into this year. He made it to the Sweet 16 in his first year as the head coach of his alma mater. This is Kentucky's first time making it to the second weekend since the aforementioned Calipari took them there in the 2018-19 season. Mark Pope was replaced at BYU by former Suns associate head coach Kevin Young. Young not only led the Cougars to their first tournament win in 13 years, he has them in the Sweet 16 as a first-year head coach, the first time the Cougars have seen themselves there since 2011. Now we look ahead to the transfer portal, which opened on March 18th. Currently, some guards in the portal are catching a lot of attention. Former UNLV point guard Deaton Thomas, former Iowa guard Josh Dix, and former Providence and Kentucky forward Bryce Hopkins are just a few of the names who will be finding themselves in a new home next season. That's all the time we have for today. Make sure you're tuned in because tournament basketball is coming down to the wire. Back to you.
Marty, definitely not the upsets I was looking for. But we'll take a quick short break and have more Leatherneck Insider after this.
Not W.
It's not W, it's W. 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 That's what I've been stressing out about the most so far. It's saying W because I know it's something you're going to say right. Yeah, we've been ready.
They're like, we're waiting on, what are we waiting on? They haven't said anything. So we're ready to go, we can start.
Hello everyone, I am Will Thomas.
And I'm Dane Mackley. Welcome to this week's edition of Leatherneck Insider.
Welcome back inside Slee Hall. The WIU softball team fell to Tennessee Tech in all 3 games last week, 5-4, 14-6, and 12-3. The Leathernecks also fell in a midweek matchup to Drake, 14-2. While the Leathernecks have been struggling as of late, there's been a bright spot in Peyton Brown. Brown is tied for the lead in the OVC in home runs with 7. She's also top 5 in total bases and top 10 in slugging percentage and total hits this season. The Leathernecks will look to turn things around this weekend as they host UT Martin, who's looking for their first OVC series win in a 3-game series.
WIU baseball went 1-2 this past weekend against University of Southern Indiana. The Learners will take game 1 15-5, but then will lose the next 2 games 8-5 and 6-4. Max Shapiro pitched 7 innings, allowing 2 earned runs and striking out 2 batters. Tyler Larch went 3 for 4 with 3 RBIs in game 1. Creighton Morris with a home run in game 3. The Leathernecks are in the middle of a 3-game series at SEMO. First pitch today is at 2 p.m. and tomorrow at 1 p.m. Both games will be streamed on ESPN+.
Leatherneck Volleyball has announced 5 new matchups for the spring semester. Today they play Quincy University in Quincy at 10 a.m. On April 5th, they'll head to Cedar Falls, Iowa to take on Northern Iowa University. April 12th, they play Quincy and Bradley at home. And to end the spring matchups on April 19th, they go up to Iowa City to face off against the University of Iowa. Have a great spring season, Leathernecks. We'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll check out some more Leatherneck sports.
Your vision,
My goal is to work at a top 100 television station as a reporter, anchor, and a producer.
Our mission.
Thanks to Western, I have a resume that would beat out most students from the top journalism schools in the country.
This is Western Illinois University.
I am a success story. I am a Leatherneck.
Welcome back to Salih. Coming off a 14th place finish at the Jackrabbit Invitational, the WIU women's golf team will host the WIU Intercollegiate Meet at TPC Deer Run in Silvis, Illinois. Before the tournament, WIU Athletics and the Alumni Association are hosting an alumni and friends social. WIU alumni and supporters are invited to a special reception from 4:30 to 6. On Thursday, April 3rd at the TPC Deer Run, attendees will have a chance to meet with WIU golf team and hear from WIU President Christy Mendrup and Athletic Director Paul Bubb. The event welcomes WIU alumni, friends, and those interested in supporting Leatherneck men's and women's golf, with the tournament following on April 4th and 5th.
The WIU men's golf team finished up their second meet of the season, finishing 5th overall out of 11 teams at the Twin Oaks Intercollegiate. The Leathernecks were led with 3 top 12 finishes in the tournament. Senior Baptiste LeBayrie and junior Nathan Tillman both finished the meet in 7th place, shooting 2 over par. LeBayrie was catapulted into the top 10 after his 2 under par third round, where he shot 4 birdies and an eagle to give him the second best score of round 3. Mateo Rascon was the last of the top 12 finishers for Western with a score of 4 over par in that 12th spot. The Leathernecks are back next week for their first and only home meet of the season at the WIU Intercollegiate in Silvis, Illinois at TPC Deer Run.
WIU women's tennis took on the SEMO Redhawks this past weekend. Next fell 5-2 with the team of Cody Rodier and Mona Fawcett looking unstoppable at the number 2. They recorded a win, scoring 6-3 against their opponents. Laura Souza made her return from injury, teaming up with Paige Grice to play at the number 3. The player could not find their groove, suffering a 6-2 loss to give SEMO the opening point. Well, WIU will take on SIU today at 1 p.m.
The WIU men's and women's track teams officially started their outdoor seasons yesterday in Norman, Illinois for the Redbird Challenge at Illinois State. Both teams finished their indoor season at the OVC Championships in Indianapolis on February 26th, where the women's team finished in 10th place while the men's team placed 7th. They are back in action next Saturday at St. Louis University. We'll take one last break, but when we come back, we'll recap NFL free agency, the IHSA basketball finals, and another segment of All In.
Western Illinois University. Our beginnings in 1902 focused on providing affordable teacher education training. We've changed with the times and excelled through the years. Today, Western is positioned for the next 100 years and beyond. Affordability of diverse academic programs, outstanding learning opportunities, and hands-on experiences provide excellent job placement for our graduates. This is Western, forever Western.
Welcome back to Salih. NFL free agency is all but wrapped up, so we'll take a look at some of the big moves over the last couple weeks. Starting off, the Chicago Bears revamped their offensive line, trading for veteran guards Joe Tooney and Jonah Jackson, also signing center Drew Dahlman to a 3-year, $42 million deal. There has also been quarterbacks on the move. The Raiders traded a third-round pick for veteran Geno Smith, and the Seahawks replaced him with Sam Darnold. The Jets added Justin Fields to their offense on a 2-year, $40 million deal, with the Giants added a couple of veteran QBs in Jameis Winston and Russell Wilson to short-term deals.
A couple of re-signings in the AFC North. The Browns voided a potential trade and reached an agreement to make edge rusher Myles Garrett the highest-paid non-quarterback in the NFL with a 4-year, $160 million deal. That only lasted a couple days until the Bengals locked down the NFL's best receiver, Jamar Chase, to a 4-year, $161 million contract. The Bengals also re-signed their other star receiver, T. Higgins, to a big deal that he's been asking for at 4 years, $115 million. The only domino yet to fall is where Aaron Rodgers will be for the 2025 season.
The Illinois High School State basketball playoffs happened last weekend, where the best teams in the state headed down to Champaign and battled out for the state crown. We saw some of the best games that we've seen in a while. In Class 1A, the Eagles from Chicago Hope Academy took home the crown after beating Eastland Cougars 71-38. After beating Peoria Manual in the semifinals, Chicago Diet took down Althoff Catholic 52-41 victory. Now going from 2A to 4A, arguably the two of the best teams in the state battled it out in a state championship. We saw Bennett Red Wings from Lowell take on the Warren Township Devils. The game was even the entire time, and the Red Wings hung on to secure their first ever IHSA state title with a score of 55-54. Now coming back to 3A, after going back-to-back the previous 2 years, the DePaul College Prep Rams were eager to win 3 straight state titles, standing in their way were the Brother Rice Crusaders. In a game that saw double overtime, the Rams squeaked out a close one, winning 55-52. Due to enrollment increase, DePaul Prep will move up to Class 4A next season. Makai Kavami, one of the stars from DePaul College Prep, is also committed to play here at Western Illinois next fall. The 6'2" guard recorded 16 points and 9 rebounds and 4 assists in a championship game. The 3-time state champ will bring his winning culture to Coach Chad Burrow's team. We can't wait to see Makai in the purple and gold next fall.
It's now time to wrap it up with another segment of All In. Take it away, guys.
Welcome to the 7th segment of All In with Kobe and Luke. Like always, I'm Kobe Blackmon, joined here with my co-host for the week, Luke Little. And Luke marches here, which means madness, which brings me to my first question right away. Which team are you surprised that is out?
I think I got to go back to round 1 with Clemson losing to McNeese. I mean, this was a Clemson team, the only ACC school to beat Duke. They beat Kentucky, who's a 3 seed in the tournament, and been very good so far. So Clemson losing in that first round was really surprising. I thought they had Final Four, Elite 8 potential, but obviously losing round 1 to McNeese is a big heartbreaker for them.
Yeah, for me it's going to be St. John's, 31-5 record overall in that regular season. And Rick Pitino, one of the greatest coaches ever to coach the game of basketball. You know what he can do. So I expect them to go far, and just them being out doesn't really sit right for me. And that brings me to my next question. Out of all the teams that are left, who's your favorite to win it?
I think Duke is probably my favorite to win it. They have 3 potential top 10 picks in this upcoming draft. But I think Florida's also really good too. Now in the round of 32, they had a big scare against UConn, but were able to push through that one. But it's hard not to say Duke.
Yeah, for me, it's kind of a stretch, but I like Michigan State here. Tom Izzo, another really good coach. I like the way he's put his team together and how well they're playing. And Luke, we can't leave without you being all in or all out. Oh, the transfer portal has opened, and there's madness there too. Over 200 players entering the transfer portal just for the men's side. Are you all in or all out on the transfer portal?
See, I want to be all out on it, but I think it's really good for a lot of certain things. We saw a Sweet 16 team, Michigan, Justin Pippen for Michigan, entered the transfer portal while his team was in the Sweet 16 preparing to play Auburn. That, I think, is crazy. And we saw it in football, too, where players were entering the transfer portal while their team was getting ready for a postseason game. That part I absolutely hate. I think you should have to wait till the season is completely done with.
Yeah, for me, I'm all in on the transfer portal. I love the madness, especially during this time. Like you say, your team is playing or your team just got done and you transfer. It seems more like a free agency or like a business type of thing, but it has its ups and downs. Well, that's going to wrap it up for this segment of All In with Kobe and Luke. Have a great weekend, Macomb.
Thanks, guys. And well, that's all the time we have for this week. Make sure to check us out on all our socials at InsiderWIU. I'm Marty Doyle.
And I'm Kobe Blackmon. Have a great weekend, Macomb.